sometimes he would bring his boombox and mine was already going, so it became sort of a battle of boomboxes.
First of all, I would like to generally know what inspired you to take on Back in Action, and how did the concept of the film come together?
I was with a friend at a baseball game and had a couple beers, honestly, and had this germ of an idea, which was, what would it be like if Jason Bourne or maybe Ethan Hunt or someone had a kid, and what would that mean for their life in their job? Would it mean they'd have to retire and get out of the business? And my friend, who was eventually the producer of the movie, said, "Did you just think of that? That is a movie." And we started riffing on it, and then when COVID hit, I had the opportunity. I had some downtime, like so many of us did. And so I thought, okay, I'll take this as an opportunity to write an original script from the ground up. And that's really how it started.
So basically you were drunk and you were wondering if kids ruin our lives.
There you go.
No, but I'm guessing we can actually thank you. It's thanks to you that Cameron Diaz, after 11 years, finally returned to the screen. Is that correct?
Yep. I mean, I guess so. I'm honored, honestly, that she made the choice to come back to work on this. You know, it's a great match for her. It's a perfect part, I think, for her. But I can't say that I imagined when we were first writing it and coming up with everything that she was available or potentially could do it. So just honored that she did.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, if you actually had her in mind. Did you have Jamie Foxx in mind, or did that also just...
Well, I'd worked with Jamie before, and I think, and when Netflix brought him up as an idea, immediately it was clear that's a perfect choice for the character. When I first was writing it, I didn't have a particular actor in mind for either of them, but I was trying to make sense of the family story and have that weave together with the spy story. And then, I don't know, and then they were both presented as possibilities, and that they really both felt right the second I heard it.
Yeah. The two of them, they are a great team because they have a long-standing friendship.
Yeah.
And how did that dynamic translate to their performances on set?
It felt like every day we were playing, you know, that especially when we were able to do the comedy scenes where we didn't have to dodge bullets or throw punches, right? They were, it was just wonderful to see them play and have fun in the characters, have fun in the situations. You know, an example that comes to mind is when she's on the couch and she's hacking into her daughter's computer and found all these wonderful moments to be secretive and surreptitious and playful in that act. And like that's just an example of what you would never have time, or you would never have space to fit on the page. It would take too much. But then, you know, the life she brought to it in that way, I think really makes that scene.
I was wondering if you would, if you had to cast yourself as a character in Back in Action, would you be the hero, the villain, or the comic relief?
I think I'd be one of the brutes with a gun that gets taken out real quick.
They're important too, I mean.
Yeah, oh yeah, critical. You got to have those dummies that get shot.
So who was the biggest perfectionist on the film? Was it you, Jamie, or Cameron, or did you each just go with the flow?
I guess between those three in that situation, it was probably me. in that every day I had a sort of an elaborate plan of what we were trying to accomplish. But I think, you know, there were a couple others that were real perfectionists too. I would say that our producer, Bo Bauman, was certainly that. And some of the other department heads were really bringing that.
I think you have a unique talent because your shows and your films appeal to broad audiences, but in a good sense. How do you ensure that your work resonates with such a diverse group of viewers? Because it's not so easy.
I really don't know how. Just to me, I think it's a combination of where I grew up and the sensibilities I was raised with and all that. It just, I'm always just trying to make something that I think works, that seems right to me, and can't control really who it's going to appeal to. But if you're saying that's what you think this one will do, I accept it. I love it.
Yeah, I think it will. Yeah. Did anyone, because it's maybe a strange question because I've heard this before, did anybody make a ridiculous suggestion on set that then turned out to be an amazing idea?
I'm trying to think. I think it was ridiculous. I will say, you know, the scene that where they're boxing and the kids mistake that for them having sex. That was Jamie's idea. And I thought, I never thought it was ridiculous. I just thought, you know, that I felt it would work, and it does. I mean, so I didn't totally answer your question because it was a really good idea. I think ones that were probably truly ridiculous I've already forgotten by now.
Well, maybe it didn't happen. Ridiculous is a big word, but maybe like something like that was also unexpected during the filming, or some anecdote or something from set that comes to your mind.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Nothing's jumping to my mind in the immediate, but when they landed we were running out of time completely on the day where they land from skydiving. And it meant that the way we could do it was completely truncated, and there was too much wind, so it was dangerous. So we had to do a much simpler trick for showing them land, which was dropping the parachute behind them and revealing them as if they had just landed. And what really made it work was Jamie, on one of the takes, getting really excited about the fact that they had survived. And that was never intended, but it worked out wonderfully. And it was a much simpler way to go. So in a way, the weather forced us into a whole new way of doing it. Yeah.
How did you approach balancing like the action and the comedy elements in the film?
It only makes sense in retrospect. I would say when we were doing it, it felt a little bit almost crazy because it's two completely different styles of filmmaking. One is, you know, little slices of time where you're dodging a bullet or throwing a punch, and then you cut. It's very quick. And the other one are the long, expansive, playful scenes. So it was almost like they were the antidotes to each other as we went. We got to trade off between modes of storytelling. I think that, I guess, is how we struck the balance, is that it felt like, okay, we've done this and for a while. I'm kind of sick of it. Let's do this other thing now.
Yeah. I mean, long days of filming, unexpected things happening, and so forth. Do you have like any secret weapon to keep everyone motivated and have fun during a long day of filming?
I would drag around this really heavy boombox that could play music even for very big spaces, and was always trying to play music everywhere we went. And I think that actually really informed the soundtrack of the movie. ultimately, because
which was great.
Thank you. Some of the songs were like when those oldies would come up, there's something that really felt right about Jamie and his musical background and their romance set, you know, and their violence set against these ballads. That was just such a great unexpected connection. So I'd say that, like, just having music on set all the time was a great way to build some camaraderie, and that's something Jamie actually always does. And sometimes he would bring his boombox and mine was already going, so it became sort of a battle of boomboxes.
That sounds really fun. If Back in Action had a blooper reel, how long would it be and who would star in it most?
Oh, God. I feel like we all had some good bloopers along the way. I feel like Jamie Demetriou would really have some great stuff with the blooper reel. He was really amazing. I was blown away by him.
Ist der Fernseher kaputt? Seid ihr Boomer deshalb jetzt noch draußen?
Boomer?
Ja, Karen. Boomer.
Und wir sind keine Boomer, klar? Wir sind Gen X, wenn überhaupt. Na los, lass uns gehen.